Okay, so I will start it off. Morning, everyone. Thanks for jumping on. Today's a bit of a later start, thankfully. So the way we've worked in the past is we let the designers maybe just give a really quick, brief intro. So if I'm not mistaken, Milad, you're going to be actually handling the whole session for today. And then we have Mia as well. So designers, I'll let you kick off one by one first and just give a really quick intro so Milad gets to know who you are and the brand. So Dalal, you were first in. Do you want to introduce Cones and Rods?
Yes, of course. I'll be opening the video shortly. So I'm the co-founder of Cones and Rods, a luxury eyewear brand that focuses on that's made in Japan, and that focuses on limited edition production and using sustainable materials.
Perfect. So Jude, do you want to go next?
Sure. Hi, good morning. My name is Jude Fatani. I'm the creator and designer behind Noms Life. Noms is it's a graphic ready-to-wear lifestyle brand. And it was built around a secret society of characters, and each one has their own personality and backstory.
Very good. And Mo, do you want to go next? Last but not least.
Yeah, sure. Hey guys, my name is Mohammed Bajaba. I am the founder and creative director of Proud Angeles. Proud Angeles is a fashion brand inspired by creative individuals and casual lifestyle.
Amazing. And congratulations to Mo, because he opened up
Thank you.
His store last night in Riyadh Boulevard. So if any of you guys are going to be around Riyadh, make sure
Congrats,
to pop in.
Mo.
Woo!
Thank you so much. Thank you guys. Hope to see you all.
Well done, well done. So Mia, do you want to go first and just intro yourself to the gang?
Yes, is there someone missing? Like there's Muriel also here, or she's not?
Muriel is a part of the wider Shalhoub, so she's in as well. Right? Yeah.
Good. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for making the time to meet us this morning. My name is Mia. I am the solutions and product expert. I work on CPG, retail, beauty, and luxury. And I don't know if you've met Mansour. He's also like my partner on the Shalhoub Group account. You probably maybe met him in one of the workshops. I'm not sure. And we have here today Milad, who is the agency partner at Facebook. He will be the main speaker and presenter. He'll be going through all the steps and the requirements to actually start building your business on our family of apps, starting with the most essential part, which is the business manager and ads manager. So he will walk you through everything. Milad, I think the floor is yours.
Thank you everyone for dialing in. This is a very interesting session. I mean, it's always a pleasure to meet with business owners. I mean, we'd love to learn more about how do you sell your products online. If you do, this is a very interesting conversation. I, at some point, used to be a small business owner selling wallets in Dubai. So I know what you all go through, and I relate to most of the pain points that you run through, from opening a store to managing logistics to fulfillment to online delivery, if you do setting up an online shop. So I totally empathize with all the hard work that you guys put through. So and Mo, congratulations on your store opening yesterday. I think
Thank you so much.
Must be like a super proud moment for you and the team.
I'm overwhelmed, to be honest. I'm really overwhelmed. I'm happy. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, good stuff. I'm just before we begin, do you guys actually sell online, or is it only in store? Do you run Facebook ads? Do you run any other channels like search, like other social networks? What's the deal? So just so I know, where do you guys stand in this space?
Perfect. Mo, do you want to start there?
Yeah, I do online on a Shopify, and I've done Facebook ads through the Facebook admin. Yeah, I've done that. I've done Snapchat ad, I've done SEO, but like not heavily, you know.
Okay, cool, interesting. Yeah, I think Shopify is one of the most used commerce solution by most of the small businesses.
Yeah.
So I use Shopify when I used to run that small wallet business. So I totally relate to all the ins and outs of how it works. Anyway, let's
Jude,
begin.
do you want the others? Are I think both Jude and Dalal, are you both Shopify as well?
Yes, for me.
Yeah.
Yes, I do Shopify. I haven't really understood how to do Facebook ads correctly. I think I've tried it before. It not necessarily, it hasn't, I mean, I've gotten followers and likes, and I've gotten not necessarily from the areas that I wanted it from, or for specifically my target, and they don't always convert. So I think it's kind of confusing knowing if you can target the right people or how to do that. Yeah.
Well, good thing you're here then, because I think we've the right people on the call.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand. It could be a bit frustrating at the beginning, but once you get the gist of it, and once you understand how Facebook ads really work, then over time you see results. I don't suspect, you see results instantly for a small business. If you just started, it takes a while for things to pick up, just because people are not fully aware of the business, they don't know the product, so it'll take time to pick up. But over time, you set a foundation, you test and you learn, as you go. But I think today's topic is very much focused on business manager setup and best practices. And if you work with multiple people on the same business, I think this is what we're trying to push today, from what I understood from at least from the brief from Mia. And I think this is an underrated topic. Let me share my screen. Give me a second.
And maybe, Jude, just for you to know, we have another session on Thursday, right, Sinead? It's on Thursday at 10. We will be covering people-based targeting, signals. So we will deep dive into that on Thursday. Today is more about the basics, the fundamentals, which, as Milad said, they are underrated. It's very important to establish a good foundation.
All right. Look, with no further ado, what we're going to cover today is basically an introduction to Business Manager. We will talk about how you use Business Manager effectively, what are some of the best practices that you can get on to access Facebook assets, how you can improve your account security, and some of the ways of how you can set up your Facebook campaigns. We'll cover very top-line basics, and I think there will be further more sessions later on during the program to talk about much details. Feel free to ask me questions, stop me at any point of time for any related questions. All right, so let's dive in. So the first one is about introduction to Business Manager. So what is Business Manager? It's basically a hub that integrates the Facebook marketing related tools, assets, and people working on them into one place. It's a free tool, anyone can use it. You just need a Facebook account to access Business Manager, and you simply, if you just key in Google Chrome or whatever your browser that you're using, www.business.facebook.com, this is where you create your Business Manager. I suspect that most of you have done that since you've already started some sort of Facebook ads. So I think that would be the basics of it. Some of the benefits and why to use Business Manager. Specifically, large organizations do that a lot, but equally, small businesses should also manage their assets, own their pages, own their ad accounts, just to avoid any risks in the future, just to make sure whatever you own is an asset that you own. It should not be owned by anyone else. So some of the benefits, the first one is about control. Okay, so it allows appropriate people within your business to have full control of the assets, especially as your team, partners, or even vendors, they change over time. In your cases, they might not, but it's good to have that full control and set that foundation. The second one is about privacy. So using Business Manager, you can connect with your colleagues, with your work information, not necessarily with your personal Facebook accounts. And then the third one is about security. And then this is an important section in Business Manager. It's called the Security Center. We will talk about it later on in the presentation. But these are things that you can do today to identify risks and mitigate risks to avoid any business manager compromise to improve security. So one of the examples that I face in most of the case, by the way, I did not introduce myself. I work a lot with media agencies, very large organizations, and they manage Facebook ads and other channels for large and small clients. And one of the key learning I had recently in the past 3 years is there's a lot of business manager compromise. There's a lot of people who hack business managers, and they end up spending a lot of money on credit cards and on credit line that the clients should not be paying for. There is a process that happens there, but that's why security is an important step. There's a lot of hackers out there who might get access to your business manager and compromise usage of ad accounts and credit cards. And you want to avoid that by mitigating all the risks. So it's important that we cover it also in the presentation. And then the last one is about time saving. So you can manage multiple assets and all in one place. You can track performance across multiple pages. If you do have multiple pages, if you have multiple ad accounts in a single dashboard, it's super easy to use. So let's now have a look on what you can find inside the Business Manager. So like I said before, it's all in one place to manage Facebook assets and tools. So as you open your Facebook Business Manager, you will find a section on users, and within users, there are people that you can add, or even if you're working with an agency or any other business manager that have an asset that you may need for your ads, we call these as partners. Anything related to accounts, so your Facebook pages, your Instagram accounts, if you have WhatsApp for business accounts, ad accounts, which we'll talk about later on when we talk about Ads Manager, and finally, if you own any apps. Data sources, so if you're running, if you're trying to sell on your Shopify stores, there's something called the Facebook Pixel, which is a piece of code, piece of JavaScript code that usually it's implemented on your Shopify store that will track people as they go through your website. So if they added a product to the cart, or they just viewed a piece of product, or even purchase. So this is something that you can control, even if you have catalogs. So if you have so many products, you can upload a catalog on your business manager and have full control of it. And finally, if you have offline event sets, so if you have an offline store and you want to attribute back how many, if you want to try to understand out of the people who saw your ad, how many people actually converted in your store, offline event set is the right solution here. Payment method, so you add your credit line. If you have a credit line, usually in your cases it won't, so it's going to be most of the cases a credit card. And then finally is just other settings and other tools on brand safety, on security center, on business information, on reporting, on insight sections. So there's way more other things. If you work, or at some point you will end up working with a media agency or any sort of a small to medium or even a large media agency one day, this is the recommended setup that we usually advise all advertisers on Facebook. So basically, the advertiser should own their business manager. They should own all their Facebook pages, their Instagram account, their WhatsApp account, all their data sources, even their ad account. And they just give access to the agency business manager with whatever assets that they may need to run Facebook ads on your business behalf. If the agency is responsible for billing, the same setup applies, exactly the same. The only difference is the agency will share their credit line, because in all the agencies, in most of the cases, they have credit lines with Facebook. That means they don't have to pay by credit card. They will receive a monthly invoice from Facebook on monthly basis that they have to pay against all the.
Can I ask
Facebook
something?
Yes.
When did the credit line thing got activated? Like, was it recent?
The credit line was always there. It's in Business Manager settings, there's a place called monthly invoicing. And over there, you can apply for monthly invoicing. But to be honest, there's a lot of factors that are reliant or dependent on to get an approval for a credit line. It depends on how much you spend on Facebook. It depends if the business is actively running a lot of ads. It depends on like if you're spending less than $10,000 a month, then this is not something you won't be eligible as a business. But you are spending more than 10,000.
Because the agency I used to work with. So
usually
it's for them, right? They're the ones should be having. For me, I'm not spending more than $10,000 a month because I don't have millions in stock. But the only reason I brought it up is because when I used to work, I used to give them prepaid credit card. I didn't know about this option, but it's okay. We'll dive deeper later.
Yeah, look, some agencies might have a monthly invoicing in place and some agencies might not have it. So depending on the size of the agency and depending how long they've been and how much they spend on Facebook, and depends, there are other factors like if there is a Facebook account representative actively managing this agency, then automatically they get prioritized for a credit line. But in some cases, smaller agencies not necessarily have it. But a credit line or monthly invoicing as an option is available to an agency or non-agency. If one day your business grows to 100 people and you're spending millions or hundreds of thousands on Facebook, you could be eligible for a monthly invoicing and a credit line. It's a big topic across agencies in general, but I just wanted to bring it up if you are working with an agency today. And then, tips in terms of navigating Business Manager. Once you have everything set up, you can see from your Business Manager homepage, an advertising dashboard, alerts, products updates. You can find many things. And also there are so if you click on the top left, I'll show you, there's a demo that I prepared really quickly later on in the presentation. I'll show you. If you see those this box here with multiple dots, if you click on it in the Business Manager, you see different other tools that you can check out for different reasons that you may need to use them. So now you understand what Business Manager homepage is. Let's move on and talk about how you can get access to assets. First, to be able to work with your organization business, employees of that business manager must be granted a business manager role. And there's two roles here. It's either an admin role or an employee role. And second, to be able to work on business manager assets, appropriate access levels needs to be granted to each admin or employee. So for a business manager admin, literally, you're the admin of that business and you can do anything. So you can view the business, you can add and remove employees, you can manage permissions, you can add pages, you can create ad accounts, etc. An employee, they can just view and they can be assigned to an ad account or a page to be able to do their ads, to be able to run ads or to manage a page. So let's say if you have an employee who only controls what goes on in terms of the page, in terms of posting, then you can give them an employee access and you can only give them access to the page where they simply allowed to just write content on that page or even your Instagram account. If you have another employee who only is supposed to be running ads, then they can also be an employee admin with giving them access to the ad account where they can simply only supposed to run ads and nothing else. So you can control the different roles depending on the people working in the organization. Maybe it's less applicable to you, it's more applicable for large organization, but these are some of the best practices that we tend to follow and tend to talk about for businesses. And then there's the finance editor role. So to be able to add a credit card, or if you have a monthly invoicing and you want to customize that monthly invoicing and have different invoices for different ad accounts, etc., then you would need a finance editor role or a finance analyst role. In most of the cases, in your case, it won't apply to you because it's more a small business and most of the payments will be managed through a credit card. Now, in terms of adding people to a business manager, it's super easy. So you go to the business manager settings, you go to the people section. You, in this example, if you want to add any user, you just type their email address, and then you select if you want to give them an employee access or an admin access. And then accordingly, that user will receive an email confirmation or an email asking them to get started on that business manager. So they'll simply enter their name and then they get started, they'll have access to your business manager. The second one, actually the third step here is once the access is verified, so once the access is given to that specific user, you can start assigning assets. So if you go here to people, and in this case, if you look at Alfred, you can assign the assets that you want. So if you want to give them access to the page to publish content, or you want to give them access to the ad account to create ads or manage campaigns, you can do so at any point of time. And then you can claim or request assets to pages. So you're supposed to claim your Facebook page and have it secured in your business manager. You don't want another business to claim your page, because if they do, it's going to be a lot of trouble trying to get that access to that page again. You'll have to contact that business, asking them to release the page, and then you'll be able to claim it. So make sure you claim all your pages, all your Instagram accounts, your catalog, your pixel, your any sort of assets that belong to your business. Make sure to have it claimed in your business manager. So this is just an example of how you can add a Facebook page. So you can simply go to the business manager settings, add a Facebook page name or the URL, or just simply request access to a Facebook page if you are an agency. If you're an agency, what they will end up doing, and they want to work on your business to, let's say, publish content, then they will request access. You will get a notification in the business manager homepage. You will approve it, and once it's approved, then they can start. They have access to your page to publish the content or whatever the permission that you assign to them. And then finally, assigning the permissions. So depending on the permissions that you want to give them, so you can give them to manage the ad account or publish pages or look at page performance or just to view insights. That's totally up to you to decide, depending on the people that you have in the organization. And this is what it looks like. So in this case, if, they're trying to give access to an ad account. In this case, you can have access to either view performance, is actually another one called create ads, it's missing here, and then manage campaigns only. So this is the set of permission that you can give to an ad account. What I want to show you now is just a quick demo of what this looks like in real life. Okay, where is my... So this is for a business call. This is for a sushi restaurant in UAE. It's called Kami Sushi. What it looks like. So if you go to the business manager settings, you can see my screen, right? You can see the business manager.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So if you go to business settings, this is what it looks like. So I'm an admin in this case on this business manager, and then I have access to the page, to the Instagram account, to the ad account, to the catalog, and to the pixel. If you want to add someone, you just simply click You add their email, super easy. You go to admin access. So in this case, let's say if I want admin access, I go to next. I decide which, if I want to give them the access to the page, if I want to publish the content, if I want to do community activity, or if I just want to create ads, if you want me to manage the entire page, then you can just assign the specific permission that you want. The same thing applies for ad accounts, and this is related to running campaigns. The same thing related to catalogs, apps, or anything else. So this is where everything happens. And it's important to set up all the foundation here. So you add all your users, you add all your partners. So if you are working with an agency, then you can simply assign the agency as a partner and then assign the assets to them that they need to do the business that you have agreed with them. And then if you go to the pages section, you make sure you add your page, and you can see that this page is owned by this business. You don't want your page to be owned by another business, because it could be a big trouble trying to get that back to your business. And the same thing with ad accounts, same thing with an app, the same thing with a WhatsApp account, the same thing with a catalog, pixel, everything, any assets that you may have as a business should be owned in your business manager. Okay, and talking about payment methods, this is where you can add payment methods. So you simply add a new payment method here by going here, just adding the credit card is super easy. This is it really quickly from a business manager settings. Actually, one more thing I wanted to talk to you about, give me a second, is where is it? The business information. So it's important that you set up your business information correctly. So make sure you assign primary page, put the legal name of the business, put the address, put the phone number. If you have the details, if you have access to verify your business, then please do. And then we'll talk about it later now in the presentation about the two-factor authentication, which is the security section now. But this is just a quick snapshot of what business manager settings should look like. Make sure you consolidate all your people, all your users, all your assets into one place. And this is why it's extremely important as a business owner to set this up at the beginning and not to think about it later. It's a very important step. Now let me go back to the presentation. But is there any questions before I move on to the security section?
No, I think everyone's happy to move on.
Cool.
Thank you.
Now the third section is about improving security to the to your business manager and to your profiles as well. So protect your business manager through the security center. So if you go to the security center, also in business manager settings, it's important to set up two-factor authentication for business manager. It's important that all your employees or admins or any user on that business manager, you have the two-factor authentication turned on for them as users, so they won't be able to log in to business manager if they don't have the two-factor authentication set up. This layer of security is really important because, like I said before, you don't want a hacker to come into your business manager and start creating campaigns with thousands of dollars that you might have to end up paying from your credit card. So it's important, very important step to do this. So this is where you should enable the two-factor authentication in the business manager settings. You review people access, you make sure it's for everyone. And if a person does not sign up, they won't be able to access the business manager. Other steps to secure your business manager, always monitor your ads, make sure they are spending correctly. Make sure you deactivate ad accounts that you don't use. Always from time to time, audit the access of the BM users. So anyone who left the organization, or if you stopped working with an agency, immediately terminate the access. Don't let people or people that do not belong to your organization on your business manager. And then finally, only add people that you trust, because if their accounts were hacked and they manage, and the hacker managed to log in through via their ad account, they will also have access, and your business manager will be compromised. And then actions to take on your personal accounts to make sure you have authorized login for your ad account, for your accounts. You have strong passwords. I mean, these are general best practices. Never share your login information. And finally, use the security checkup in the security center here. And it's a tool that help you give you notifications and alerts in case there was an extra spend, or there was an access, or someone trying to log in. So it's important to have those. These are automatically turned on in most of the cases. So just make sure they are turned on. That's on the security bit. And now I think the last bit is getting started with Ads Manager. And Ads Manager is your starting point for running ads on Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, or Audience Network. It's an all-in-one tool for creating ads, managing when and where they will run, and tracking and how well your campaigns are performing. And Ads Manager sit inside Business Manager. People tend to confuse between both, but they're two separate tools. Ads Manager falls in under Business Manager, and this is where you can start creating ads. Yeah, so Business Manager is about having people, partners, ad accounts, all your assets in one place. And then within ad accounts, you can start creating campaigns. So the structure or the hierarchy is, first you need to create an ad account. And in that ad account should represent ideally one brand. So if, let's say, you have 5 brands, then set up 5 different ad accounts, 1 per brand. And under that ad account, the hierarchy in terms of a campaign setup. So you have a campaign where you identify the way of buying, where you identify the objective. And then under the second layer is the ad set level. And ad set is where you set up your target audience. You set up which placements you want your ad to appear on. And then the third layer is the ad. And the ad is where you can upload your creative that you want to use. So what people will actually end up seeing. So advertising on behalf of other business managers, this is also important, and this makes more sense for agencies. So if today you are working with an agency, and if they want to create an ad account to be under their business manager, which they shouldn't now, you should create the ad account and give them partner access, assign the ad account to them, and they can run the ad. But in case they do, it's an important step for them to advertise on behalf of other business. So over here, when trying to create a new ad account, they can either decide that this ad account will be used for my business or for another business. So if the agency is doing that, they should always select another business, select the business manager ID, your business manager ID, and then automatically, internally, our system will know that this ad account is advertising, this agency is advertising on behalf of your business, so that we make that connection. Otherwise, it could be it could be super messy in our internal CRM that, yes, this ad account is advertising for Proud Angels, but in reality, that ad account is totally owned by the agency, which shouldn't be the case. So just a heads up. And then assigning a credit line to ad account. Again, if you are working with a partner or with an agency who have an ad account, they can assign the business manager, they can assign the credit line, they can share it with your business, and then you can assign it to different ad accounts depending on your agreement with that agency. I'm not going to talk a lot about it because in most of the cases, I believe you're all still working with credit cards. And then protecting your ad account from overspending. And this is this is where most of the human errors, at least I face with media agencies today, when they set up campaigns, they accidentally, so if they accidentally enter a wrong amount. So let's say if their campaign budget is $5,000 and they said that I want to spend $500 every day, by mistake they add another zero, and then the system ends up spending $5,000 every day instead of for the entire duration. So there's two ways that you can avoid that. You can avoid that by setting up an account spending limit. So your total ad account should not over exceed a specific spending limit that you decide on. Or when creating the campaign, you can decide a campaign spending limit. So you don't want your campaign to be spending more than X. So these are just a few ways of how you can avoid going into such cases. And then there's another way to do it. So you can either go with daily budget or lifetime budget. I'm a big fan of lifetime budget for agencies because they tend to go into a lot of human error. In your cases, since it's only 1 or 2 ad accounts, it's an easy way to manage. Media agencies, they have so many ad accounts, or large advertisers, they have so many ad accounts, so it can be super hard for them to control it. So the best way is to always go with lifetime budget. But in your case, you can use it if you are 100% positive that you're not accidentally going to use or enter the wrong amount. And then you can also leverage automated rules in Business Manager. So turn off a campaign if it spends more than $1,000. So you can condition these the way you like, as you see appropriate. Now, you have your Business Manager set up, you've claimed your assets, you have your ad accounts, you have your pages all in one place, and then you've set up your ad account, and now it's time to really start advertising on Facebook. We're gonna quickly touch some of the ways of buying and how to get started, but I think from what I understood from here that there will be another dedicated session to talk to you more about in details in terms of targeting, etc. So there's 2 ways of buying on Ads Manager. There's a reach and frequency, and then there's the auction-based buying. The reach and frequency is a way where if you want more predictability and you don't want to pay more than a specific CPM, a cost per mil or a cost per thousand, then you should go with that approach. In most of the cases, small businesses don't tend to go with reach and frequency. They end up going with more of an auction base because they want more flexibility in terms of optimization, changing things instantly. Reach and frequency is more relevant for CPG type of advertisers who are trying to get as maximum reach as possible. They want to get 70 or 80% reach of their total target audience. So, and they want like a fixed cost. They don't want to go overboard. So in most of the cases, auction will more apply to your type of business. So just quickly, in terms of reach and frequency, it's more about transparent media planning, more media buying. It's more predictive delivery. You know that this is your fixed CPM cost, and then the highest level of controls over more delivery. One tool that I always recommend to use is reach and frequency in the campaign planner in Business Manager. So once you go to Business Manager menu, there's a tool called Campaign Planner, and there's a very effective tool that will help you understand how much budget you need to spend to reach a specific set of people. You decide on the buying type, you decide on the campaign objective, you decide on the number of times you want to reach that person in like a duration in terms of like either 7 or 10 days duration. You select the audience that you want, and then it'll give you that graph of how much you need to spend to achieve a frequency of 2 times to reach that person every 7 days. Then it'll give you more like a sort of a budget. So it will help you build like a sort of a media plan. It may not apply to you. It more applies again for large organization, but this is a tool that's available also for small businesses as well. And then in terms of auction, I personally prefer auction for small businesses, like I said, because I want more control. I want to control the optimization. I want to optimize for conversion online. So I want to optimize for a pixel purchase event. So when people buy, you want to try and get those signals and use them again in your campaign to try and get more people to buy from all the signals that you have or the pixels have consolidated. So once you've selected the ways of buying, so let's say you've decided to go with an auction buy, this is where you need to select your marketing objective. And this is where you need to tell the system, what are you trying to achieve? So if you're trying to sell online, so if you're trying to get purchases online, then conversion is a good way to start. But if you're trying to get people to sign up for a lead form and then you want to call them back later to sell them a service, then I would encourage you to go with lead generation. But if you're just simply trying to build brand awareness, more like an upper funnel activity, then just simply go with a brand awareness campaign or a reach campaign. Totally up to you to decide, depends on what you're trying to achieve. In my personal case, when I used to sell the wallets, I used to follow a lot the conversion campaign. So I'm telling the system that I want people to buy from my website. And there's a setup flow that I think in another session, Mia and the team will talk to you about. These are some of the controls that you have as an advertiser. So you have control over the objective, you have control over the targeting, over the bid. So how much you're willing to bid in that auction, how much you're willing to spend, which placements you want your ad to appear on, and the creative that you upload for the users to see. These are all the levers that are available for the advertiser to fully control how you set up or what goes in your campaign. How to optimization goals influence app delivery. Okay, so once you've shared the objective, your targeting preferences, our machine learning algorithm factors in all your inputs along with the engagement and the actions of all the people on Facebook. And then it will start delivering your message to the audiences that most likely will take a desired action based on the marketing objective that you have selected. So if you've selected to, if you ask the system that you want to sell online on your Shopify store, so in most of the cases, you've selected a conversion marketing objective. And then the system will learn that that I need to deliver this ad to people who are more likely to buy from this business. But to be able to set this up, you have to make sure your pixel, remember that pixel that we spoke about, that piece of tracking that you add to your website, you install on your website. These are signal intents that we collect as Facebook. So the machine will collect those signals. It will try to learn from those signals and will try to personalize your ads or try to serve your ads to people who are more likely to buy from your store. I'm going to skip this. Yeah, and then this is simply how the auction actually works. So it factors in multiple factors. So it looks at the advertiser bid. It factors in the estimated action rates. So what's the likelihood that an impression shown to this person will lead to your desired result? And then it will also look at the user experience. So how interesting do we think the individual is going to find this ad? We combine all these factors and come up with a total value. And that total value will determine when you will appear in the auction, if you want that auction, and then accordingly that person will see your ad. This is a very top line view of how this entire thing, how the auction system works. And this is it, to be honest. This is all what we have for you today. We hope it was interesting, and we hope that we added value somehow to your business.
Thanks a million. Guys, if any of you have questions, I know that Milad, you have to head off now. You have a hard stop, but I'm happy to take any questions and actually send them on to him afterwards, guys. We have more Facebook's boot camps tomorrow and Thursday anyway. So if anyone hasn't got any questions.
I have one question for
Okay.
paid ads, like agencies or like companies that I would want to work with. What are the things you recommend that I look into when I work with them? So like, I tried doing Facebook before, and I got to a point where like I realized that I might need to put experience on. I want to know from your background, like, what do you suggest?
Look, if you don't want to spend time, to be honest, to trying to learn the Facebook ads system, if you go today on Blueprint, the Facebook Blueprint, there's so many courses that you can learn, get up to speed with everything related to Facebook ads. But if you feel you have too much on your plate and you cannot do it, then it's always good to assign a partner who has the experience and who can help you run Facebook ads. What are the things to look at in an agency? Of course, they need to be experienced in Facebook ads. They know the best practices in terms of setting up campaigns. You might also need help in terms of creating creative or artwork that you want to use in your campaigns. Also, depending on how many products you might have, there are automation solutions like dynamic ads. So if you have 100 products in your store, then you can simply create a catalog, upload it to Facebook, upload it to Facebook Business Manager, and then simply let the system optimize and trying to find the right product to match it with the right person. Again, it takes a skill, and today you have to spend some time to be able to see good results out of Facebook ads. But if you're not willing to do so because you're super busy, then obviously assigning an agency or a partner who can help you do this, then 100% I recommend to go with that approach. My brother, for example, is a business owner. He's a hairstylist in Dubai. He has a salon. It's a ladies' salon. He doesn't have the time to run Facebook ads, and he's not going to spend time. So he simply assigned a small agency who can help them, develop nice creative, nice videos, come up with social calendars to keep posting on their pages to keep that engagement, and also working with influencers, trying to invite more people to come into their stores. So there are many ways that they can do it. So I'm a big fan of assigning an agency if you can do it, if you can actually afford it, because one person doing everything, it's very hard to run a business.
I have only two questions on that. Like, do they have to be from the region or the same country? And what is the pricing that we should put in mind, like from 3,000 to 7,000, 3,000 to 9,000? Like, what's the range that we should be committed to monthly if we want to work with an agency? I know it depends on how many campaign and all, but like.
Oh, of course. It also depends on the scope. So if you want that agency to help you develop creative, then that will add. If you only want an agency to only run ads for you, so you will supply the creative for them, then the cost will be less. So then it goes back to how much you're willing to spend. Like, I'm gonna give you a real life example. My brother who owns that salon, he spends around 600 to 700 dirhams a day. So he pays that amount on only Facebook ads, and then he pays the agency around 3,000 dirhams, which is equivalent to 3,000 Saudi riyal, to only manage this 1 or 2 campaigns that they're running. They do small creative adaptations, nothing major. And it's offer-based and it's WhatsApp-based. So they're trying to send people on WhatsApp or even on Instagram or Messenger for people to book appointments. This is, for example, a real life. Again, the scope is very focused. I just want you to manage 1 or 2 campaigns.
Okay.
If you're a startup, if you're just starting, I recommend spending some time on Facebook ads. It's not that difficult, to be honest. And then hopefully with the Facebook bootcamps, you can get up to speed. and you try it out. The more you try, the more you learn, and the better it gets. So it's like you're training yourself and also training the machine, the Facebook machine, and the algorithm to know more about your business. But there are nuances, like having the Facebook pixel is important. Having a Shopify store is important because it allows that automatic integration. So there's very little work that you have to do.
I noticed my algorithm is getting smarter. Like the algorithm is getting smarter, but like sometimes I know this person and we might have like 5 more minutes. I'll just wait for that later if anybody has question.
Yeah.
So Mo, actually Milad has to head off now. So what I might do is, if you want to send me over any questions, I can either set up like an extra, you can have like a 20-minute call yourselves, because it sounds like both of you can carry that on. But I don't want to, you're 5 minutes over time already, Milad, so you need to go. I really, really appreciate you jumping on, and it was super informative. And you're right, it is a very underrated topic. So thank you very much for going into that. Designers, thank you again for coming on and being here in the mornings. Mo, congrats again. Can't wait to go in when we hit up Riyadh in December. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next Facebook Exciting Bootcamp.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.